Laura A. Grace here, the author of Dear Author, Letters from a Bookish Fangirl, Team Lines of Poetry Collection, and Gathering Faith, my upcoming manga, which should be releasing soon. Happy Wednesday! It's Top 5 Wednesday, and you know what that means? We get to spotlight all of the manga titles. I'm really excited, and if you're not familiar with Top 5 Wednesday is, Top 5 Wednesday was formed by Lainey back in 2013. The group is now since on Goodreads, and I will leave a link down below in the description. Basically, our host Alex, she gives a series of prompts that we do on Wednesday. We use books, but in this case I'm doing manga, to answer those said prompts. And today's prompt is favorite tropes. And basically this is sort of, as she said, self-explanatory. What are some of your favorite tropes, and share books that reflect that said trope. I had to think really hard about this one. I feel like I say that every week. Do I say that every week? I'm sorry, guys. This one, though, I felt was really personally challenging for me because I realized I don't think a lot about like what kind of tropes that I like. I mean, I feel like I know tropes that I like in novels, but I think when it comes to manga, those tropes, like the tropes I like, are not exactly the same. So bear with me, I'm just gonna wing it. I think I know what some of my favorite tropes are. Some of them felt more obvious to me than other ones. And I guess in no certain order, starting with number one, that I think is one of probably like my all-time favorite kind of trope, and that's basically when you have a main heroine who doesn't have really a lot of friends or many friends, and she's very shy, and then someone comes in, usually a guy in this case, who helps bring her out of her shell. When We Shout for Love is an excellent example of this. I love When We Shout for Love. That is such a fantastic manga, and I feel it is one of the best examples of this trope to the T. Like, it is so well done. I love it very much. Another one that is a good example that I did in a review of recently is Golden Japanesque. This one I really think is going to be turning into, yes, Maria our main character, has a great romance, but she ultimately is learning to have more confidence in herself, see her true beauty and that she is beautiful, and just overall becoming stronger as an individual. Like, I love that. I love my romance, don't get me wrong, but seeing these young characters, or just characters in general, come from where at the beginning they're not very confident who they are, they like being in their bubble because they feel like they don't have good social skills or they're not beautiful, and then as the series progresses where they just like totally transform into this new person. I absolutely love that. Sorry, like my iPod died there, so I don't know what I was saying. So I absolutely love that though. That is probably definitely hands down one of my favorite tropes that I have read. It is just so amazing, and I find it so encouraging and inspiring. Yes, so good. For number two, no one's probably going to be surprised by this one at all, and that's going to be the underdog sports stories. And of course, I have to feature Hinata because he is amazing, and I love Hinata. Yes, I love sports, like, overtone series, and I don't feel that's technically a trope, so I couldn't say that, but I love me a good underdog story. And I feel like in many ways Hinata is sort of an underdog, but he's constantly, like, changing and growing and doing everything he can to become better, and I absolutely love that. I'm not sure if that's like counted as like an underdog like kind of trope, but that is the trope I like. Everything I just listed, that is the kind of trope I like with sports stories. They are my absolute favorite. And then of course having the teamwork and the teammates, yes, like it just makes everything so very good. It is perfection. I never tire of it. I love it so very much, and I'm actually reading a manga online on Shonen Jump called Blue Box. Excellent sports romance. So if you need a sports rom-com, definitely go check it out. It's called Blue Box. Anyway, that one doesn't necessarily have an underdog kind of story. Yes, it does actually, but it's in the romance department, not necessarily. Nope, I take that back. It's in the sports department too. So that's probably why I like it as well. So I love just these underdog heroes and, well, sports heroes, and then they just rise up to the challenge and they grow and they become better and they just smash people at the sport. Maybe that sounds a little harsh, but I absolutely love it so very much, and I had to do haiku as an example. So for number three, I don't have much of this, but I have noticed that there are quite a few manga titles that do have this trope, but I haven't read all of them. But the one I have read is Hatsu Haru, and it has one of my new found favorite tropes that I recently discovered, and that is when you sort of have like the playboy who falls head over heels for the one girl who is either sort of like not popular or is just different, and then the said playboy like changes his ways to be with the said girl. Yes, I am definitely a sucker for those. Let's just think about Iron Man, because that's a good example that sort of lives up to that. I really, really like those. I like where just the guy changes to be with the girl who's considered basically, I guess that's what I should have said, when the popular boy falls for the good girl and he ends up changing his ways so he can be with her. And I just love that. I absolutely love that. And I feel like Katsuharu has those vibes. I don't know if the girl is considered a good girl of sorts, but she's really funny, and I really, really enjoyed this volume. I need to get my hands on the other volumes in this series because Hatsuharu was so good. It was so good, and that's when I realized, I was like, I really like these like playboy kind of tropes, and then they go for the good girl and they change just so they can be with her because they want to feel worthy of her. Like, I really, really like that quite a bit. So Hatsuharu is going to be my example for that one. For number 4, I don't know if this one's counted as a trope. But I like when you have sort of like an opposites attract undercover spy kind of thing. I sort of have 2 examples because I wrote down undercover spies because these ones both sort of have it, and that is Spy X Family and then Love of Kill. I really like how the romance is unfolding in Love of Kill, where you have the good girl and the bad guy and then they end up falling in love kind of thing. Definitely like those kind of stories. You don't have that in Spy X Family, but I feel like they have to keep their spy lives secret, and I do like that. And then having to hopefully, come on Twilight, I hope that we have a romance in Spy X Family, and then have to work the romance around keeping that secret life kind of thing. So maybe it's like a secret life, but in Love of Kill, they don't have secret lives. They both know they're spies, and she knows he's a killer and has to go after him, and so, but he is like trying to convince her that they should be a couple kind of thing. It is very good. It got a lot of mixed reviews, but I really enjoyed it. Volume 2 comes out, I believe, next month or this month. So I really enjoy that trope. It was Spy X Family that made me realize that I have a thing for spies and undercovers, and apparently it's not like uncommon, because even my dad was like, yeah, you comment about how you like assassin heroes and stuff, and I was like, I didn't realize that about myself. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I was like, I promise I'm a nice person. But in those, like, I guess those tropes and those stories, I tend to enjoy them for some reason. So that has been a new discovery as well, concerning like favorite tropes. So for the last one, I feel like this trope is a little bit similar to the ones I've sort of mentioned a little bit, but I really like when you have a popular guy and an unpopular girl, or who considers herself to be an unpopular girl, and the popular guy actually likes the girl, but she doesn't realize it, and she's sort of like in a state of denial, even though like the signs are all there, like you see them as a reader, like, hello, like please pay attention to this. And a good example of this is in the recent release by Kodansha, And Yet You Were So Sweet. I really, really, really enjoyed that in this manga. It was very good and it was very creative. And I tend to have noticed like the popular guy liking, like you said, the unpopular girl, or the girl who doesn't have a lot of friends. She's not necessarily popular, but she might have like social awkwardness kind of thing, or feels like that she does. I really like those quite a bit. I feel like they're just very romantic, I guess, to me for some reason. And probably, if I'm honest, probably because when I was in high school, there were a few popular guys that I really liked and wish I could have dated, but I felt like way out of their league. And so in that regard, I could really relate to our main girl here, And Yet You Were So Sweet. But I enjoy seeing that in manga. I can't think of a lot of manga titles I've read with that. I've seen a lot of them, just like Katsuharu, and I feel like these are very similar, where you have like the playboy falls for the good girl kind of thing, though the main girl, And Yet You Are So Sweet, is a good girl, so to speak. So anyway, I feel like they're sort of the same, but they are different. But that is another favorite trope that I've noticed I've really been enjoying recently. And I guess that concludes sharing what my favorite tropes are in manga. It was a really fun and insightful thing for me to learn about myself, of what some of my favorite tropes are in manga. Totally let me know, what are some of your favorite manga tropes? I would love to hear from you, friends. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching. Bye!